Hey everybody, welcome to week number 2 of Sharptown's small group series, God Moments. This week's topic is aha moments, or those light bulb moments where something just goes off and we understand something new and different. That happened to me just a couple years ago while I was serving on staff at Delanco Camp. In order for you to understand my aha moment, I'm going to have to back up and just share a little bit about my childhood. When I was in 2nd grade, my dad took off and he left our family for a woman that he met in a bar. And after the dust settled, my brother and sister and I began spending weekends at Dad's. Monday to Friday we'd be with Mom. Friday afternoon we'd go to Dad's and we'd get picked back up Sunday morning for church. During the week at Mom's, everything was really structured. We had a lot of rules. We had chores to do. We were in bed early. When we got to Dad's on the weekend, there was no structure at all. He was not often sober. We could do anything that we wanted. We could watch anything that we wanted on TV. We could come and go and hang out with whoever we wanted. And it's something that my brother and I thought was pretty cool. Like, what kids don't think that's great? My sister, not so much. She didn't spend a lot of time at my dad's. About the time we became 6th, 7th, 8th grade, things at my dad started becoming just a little bit crazy. I had a stepsister who was a couple years older than me. My brother, we had a stepbrother who was a couple years older than him. And we began to hang out quite a bit with them and their friends. For me, that meant hanging out with high school kids, going to high school parties, riding around in cars with people that I don't know, dating boys who were 4 years or so older than me. Similar situation for my brother, and oftentimes we found ourselves in very dangerous situations. We could come and go at any time we pleased. We could stay out really late. We could have whoever we wanted over at the house. And again, we thought that was cool. I mean, after all, kids don't know what's good for you. When I was a sophomore in high school, my dad died in a horrific accident at work. And what ended immediately was weekends at Dad's. What also died that day was the hope that Dad was going to get his act together, that he was going to walk me down the aisle, that he was going to be there to cheer on my kids. And there was around me for many, many years really just a sense of sadness or regret what could have been. So this night at Delanco Camp, Franco Salvatore was the evangelist, and he gave what was probably a very common message for junior high kids. And he talked about how we have a Father in heaven who loves us and wants what's best for us and has a plan for our lives. And he started to liken that to our earthly fathers. And he said, for those of us who have wonderful earthly fathers, we have a glimpse of what our Heavenly Father is like. After all, our earthly fathers put us on their lap and they hug us and kiss us and wipe away tears, cheer us on, have plans for our lives, protect us, all of those things. And what Franco said for the rest of the message, I'm not really sure, but I know at the end of the message I sat there kind of mesmerized. And tears began to roll down my cheeks. And Rachel Bill, she came over and she sat next to me and she said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Yep." She said, "Do you want to talk?" And I said, "Nope." She waited a few minutes. She came back. She said, "Kristen, are you sure you're okay?" And I said, "I'm sure." And she said, "Do you want to talk now?" And I said, "Nope." And so by now, most of the kids who were at camp had gone to the altar to pray. They had left and gone back to their dorms to change for night games, and the band was cleaning up their equipment. And there I sat in a pretty much deserted tabernacle with tears streaming down my face, not really understanding why. But I felt this warmth around me and this presence and almost like this gigantic hug from heaven happening. And Rachel came back a 3rd time and she sat next to me and she said, "I'm not going to go anywhere until you tell me what's going on." And I said, "Rachel, I don't even know how to explain it." And she said, "Why don't you try?" And I said, "All right, but it's going to sound kind of strange." You know, Bill Hybels, the pastor at Willow Creek Community Church in Chicago, wrote a book, and he calls these weird God moments, those moments that we can't explain, or when we try to tell them to other people, just sound crazy. And so I said to Rachel, "This is going to sound weird, and it seems kind of strange to me too, but for the first time, I'm understanding how much my Heavenly Father loves me. And I'm understanding that my Heavenly Father loves me so much that he had to take my earthly father away." And I don't really think that God reached down from heaven and caused the accident that killed my dad that day. But I do know this, that for the first time I realized how much God in heaven loves me and how he had such big plans for me and how he wanted to protect me and to keep me safe and provide for me. And there's no doubt in my mind that if I would have continued spending my sophomore and junior and senior year of high school at my dad's on the weekends, I wouldn't have been sitting at Delanco camp ministering to a group of kids. I wouldn't be on staff at the local church serving Jesus with my life. Things were so dangerous at dad's on the weekend that I'm not even sure I'd be alive. And so I'm grateful. I'm grateful for a God who loves me, and I'm grateful to understand what it's like to have a father. I'm grateful that Rachel came back a second and a third time to force me to put into words what I couldn't really explain. And I know this. I know that our Heavenly Father will continue to provide for us. I learned something that night. A light bulb went off and showed me what a real dad's like. I'm grateful for that night at camp, for that aha moment to help me realize what a father is. I'm grateful that Rachel came back second and third time to force me to put into words what I was thinking. I'm grateful that my kids have a daddy who loves them with all their heart, and they have a glimpse of what the Heavenly Father is. My prayer for you is that you'll have God moments, that you've already had some, and that God will show you and reveal to you new things about Himself. Have a great group.